Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back. I'm doing another video really quick. Well, I don't know how quick it's gonna be, but I'm doing another video right now. I was just sitting here. I was just on the phone actually with my mom, and I was just like planning some makeup, as you can see, because it's 12:23, and I got on a full face of makeup. But anyway, I was just thinking about the fact that I am finally deciding to go get my COVID shot on Monday. And I know a lot of people has had like, a lot of opinions about it. Like there's really strong people that are against getting the COVID shot. There's really strong people for getting the COVID shot. I was that person at one point in time where I was like, no, I'm not getting it. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna have to take, precautions, like we've been doing. But my fear of catching COVID again, and also my children catching it, was like way greater than anything that I thought maybe the shot could do. So I've been saying that I was gonna come on here and discuss my COVID story. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it now, since I was thinking about my shot and everything, which I am still nervous about because I'm just the type of person that I get side effects from a lot of things. Like I could take medicine and I'm just that 1% person that gets side effects from stuff. Now, it doesn't necessarily are severe side effects, but I do get some of the side effects of things. Now, I'm praying and hoping that this is not the case with the COVID shot, that I'll be fine. But my fear of catching it again, or my children catching it, is way greater than, I guess, the risk of taking the shot. So back in, let's see, this was 2020. I had just had my son February 11th of 2020. Now, number one, I know it's kind of bad. I'm not a news watcher. I was hearing about COVID kind of more so through social media, or, my mother-in-law, because she watches the news like a lot. My husband, he's always on social media kind of a lot. So I was hearing things here and there from them. But at this particular time, it was nothing about wearing masks or anything like that. When I was hearing it, it was more so I'm like, they exaggerating, they're being too crazy. Like it's nothing that, thinking like it's something, how you hear about stuff and you hear it happening somewhere far over there, and you never really believe that it's gonna happen close to home, right? So anywho, I was February, I was having my baby. I was in the hospital, and I did see signs like everywhere around pretty much talking about the flu. Nothing about like corona or anything like that. It was just like the flu. And then it was also saying like I couldn't have any visitors that were under 18, and I couldn't have any I had to have one like designated person at the hospital with me, which was something different because this is a hospital that I had my first baby at, and I was supposed to have my second baby at. I did all of my follow-ups with them with my second baby, but that's another story as to why we didn't have her there. So we're having my son, and we have him, we bring him home, and literally like 2 months later, my husband, he works for the post office, so everything else was being like starting to kind of shut down a bit, and well, not a bit, a lot was starting to shut down, and my husband still had to go to work because he works for the post office, so mail doesn't stop, and they were not trying to have them off, because if they had them off, then it's just like a chain of events pretty much. So 2 months later, my husband comes home, and he starts saying kind of like, he just kept saying like he felt kind of funny. Now when he gets sick, he always says that, so it wasn't like it rung a bell too much. But COVID was still kind of in the back of his mind, but I'm just like maybe he's just getting a little, a little sick, because it is February, it's the heart of winter, it's not uncommon, so he just constantly, it was like kind of everyday thing. He was just like, I feel funny. Like he really couldn't explain the feeling. He just knew he felt funny. So after he started saying that, I want to say like maybe not a full week, but like a little bit later, I had got like this tickle in my throat. And I was just like, oh, what the heck? Like, you know, I'm steady like, like it was just right here. And I didn't know, like, I'm just like, okay, what the heck? Like maybe I was, you know, trying to get sick too. But I do a lot of ripping and running outside. So I was like, you know, maybe the weather kind of getting to me. So I was just drinking teas and stuff like that. And then, but it just was still like that deep, just something is like bothering my throat right here. So after time went on a little bit, my husband was like, I think I got COVID. And I was like, well, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean you got COVID? Like, what you mean? He was saying like there was a lady at work, and he was like, she was coughing like crazy. And this is before mask. He was like, she was coughing like crazy. He was like, I'm asking her, was she okay? Was she okay? And she kept saying, yeah, she was fine. Like she just, you know, she was just coughing. So I guess come to find out, the lady had went out, she went and tested, she had COVID. So now he's a person that's kind of been exposed to it, so he had to go out. So at the time when we were calling to try to see about getting tested for COVID for him, there was no like come in right here, right now. It was telehealth visits. So I set him up with a telehealth visit. He pretty much told him his symptoms. And they were like, it kind of sounds like, you know, maybe you need to pretty much get tested. In the midst of all of that, I started to not feel well. I was laying in the bed. I remember he was downstairs cooking for the kids and he does not cook. And I'm laying in bed and I just did not feel well. So he was like, I cook, come downstairs. I'm like, okay, fine. So I came downstairs and I sit down and I started to eat the food he made. I couldn't taste it. I couldn't taste the food. And then I kept asking him, like from upstairs, like, you said you cooking, I don't smell nothing, what are you cooking? So I come downstairs and what he was cooking, like it was, you know, like meat, ground beef. He was making spaghetti meatballs and stuff. You are supposed to be able to smell ground beef. Like that's just a loud smell. I could not smell it. I could not smell it at all. I could not taste the food. I could not smell it. And it's like when I said that, he started to pay attention like, well, I can't smell, I don't taste it or smell it either. It was the weirdest thing. He's like, I can't taste it, smell it either. And I'm like, oh my God. So a little bit of time went on and I started to have breathing troubles. I could not sleep at night because I was so terrified of, like, scared that I was gonna stop breathing in my sleep. And it's interesting because I've never had lung issues, asthma, bronchitis, or anything. My husband has asthma, but it didn't bother him as much because of something else he does, you know, pretty much to assist with his breathing. It didn't bother him as much, but it was like taking me down. Mind you, I had a 2-month-old baby who was breastfeeding. And now I'm laid in my bed with a mask on in my entire house, trying to not get my 3 children sick. And it was just horrible. I was taking his asthma pump because I just could not, like, it wasn't like a panting breathing, but it was just one of those like, okay, like I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Trying to take deep breaths. I was like taking hot showers. Like I didn't even realize that when I had took a shower earlier that day, I didn't smell my body wash. Like when I was in the shower, I did kind of like, what? But I just was like, didn't even pay no attention because I wasn't feeling well. But the whole time I couldn't smell my body wash. I wasn't smelling things. So I did a telehealth visit. No, before my telehealth visit, my husband went and got a COVID test finally at the hospital. His COVID test came back positive. He did have it. So now he's out for work. Now it's me and I'm having a telehealth visit with my doctor, and she's like, it sounds like if you're mimicking literally the same symptoms, I'm almost pretty sure you have it. So she was just giving me tips like, you know, take things like Tylenol, don't take stuff like Aleve. You know, she's like, if you need to use, she was gonna order me my own asthma pump since it was helping me breathe. And she's like, I'll order you your own asthma pump. And then my son started to get like a runny nose, and then he had like this cough, and he's a 2-month-old baby. So finally, which I think it took me about another week. So my husband had went to get his COVID test. A week had went past, and then like another week. So now we're like 2 weeks that they finally decide to pull me in and do a test. Now they pull me in and my son to do a test, and they do like, now prior to, my husband was getting the one that it goes all the way back there and you kind of like gagging. By the time I came, they came up with the rapid test. So it was just a quick little swab in your nose. Well, they swabbed me, they swabbed the baby just really quick, and she comes back, oh no, it's negative. You don't have COVID. And I looked at her like, ma'am, I know I gotta have COVID because I can't smell, I can't taste anything, I can't breathe. Like, come on now. So pretty much they wouldn't do another test. That's just what it was. That's what they gave me, even though I knew otherwise. So me and my baby, we go home, and I just try to do the best I can with that. I was just drinking a ton of tea. I think I was going through bottles of Vicks, taking hot steamy showers. I was boiling like oranges, lemons, limes, ginger. I was just doing everything that I had started to read about and see. So, you know, after we kind of got over that, and pretty much we're out of the frame of, you know, he can go back to work, you know, everything is whatever. I still was having trouble breathing. Like, I wasn't feeling right. I was feeling dizzy all the time. I was just feeling off. It was almost like I was having like an out of body experience, like watching myself go throughout my day. Meanwhile, I'm like taking care of 3 kids, working at home, and I just was like, something is not right. So I was hitting my doctor, and like my doctor kept trying to say, because I have a history of anxiety, my doctor kept trying to say, I think it's your anxiety that's like bothering you. And that is something that pisses me off, because when you are diagnosed with having anxiety, almost everything now that happens with you is anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I say I can't breathe. Oh, it's your anxiety probably. Oh, I say I don't feel well. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel funny. Oh, it's probably your anxiety. It's like, no, it's not my anxiety. I know it's not my anxiety. So I come into the office. Finally, they let me come into the office, and she runs like just a general blood test. And a few days later, she's like, everything looks normal, like you're fine. I'm like, okay, like here go me, like maybe I need to drink some more water, like maybe, like, you know. So time goes on, and I'm still like, no, like I don't feel right, something is wrong. So I go back to her. She's like, well, what would you like me to do? Sometimes patients can tell us things that they're feeling that can kind of steer us in right. And I was like, please, like run anything. I've been looking it up. I was like, please, like run my vitamin D, run, you know, like I was just telling her to run any and everything, like just run it, please. So finally, came back, my vitamin D was at a 15, and your vitamin D is supposed to at least be 30 and above. So I was at like a severe level where if it kind of started to drop more, I would probably have to have been hospitalized. So at this point, I'm pretty much being pumped with vitamin D. Like I'm taking like, I want to say, what was I taking a day? I had to take 15,000 IUs, something to that nature. I had to take like a huge number of IUs of vitamin D a day. for like a span of 3 months. And then after those 3 months, I had to get checked again, which I did. And it was coming up, but it still wasn't where it needed to be. So I had to continue to take them, along with my vitamins, breastfeeding, and all that. So time is going on. At least my vitamin D is getting better. I'm starting to feel a little better, but it's still something going on with my breathing because I'm taking an asthma pump, and this is not normal for me. So finally, my doctor's like, I just kind of got fed up with her. I just was like, you know what? Let me see somebody else. I stayed at the same hospital, but I went to another doctor. This particular doctor, I've met her before, so I was like, okay, I'm kind of familiar with her. And she reads my chart. I tell her what's going on, and she's like, you know what? Let's do a pulmonary test on you. So I finally go, I take a pulmonary test, and lo and behold, I have restrictive lung disease now. I have never, ever had trouble breathing or with my lungs or anything like that. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a part. Back it up, before I even went to this doctor, I went to the ER because I was having so much trouble breathing. Went to the ER, and I don't mean to sound like, you know, all doctors are, doctors are doctors. There's some good ones, there's some bad ones. But I went to the ER, and I had a black male doctor. That doctor asked me what was going on, and I told him I have been having trouble breathing for quite some time now. That I was tested for COVID. They told me I didn't have it, but I lost my smell and taste. This doctor off the rip said, you had COVID. There is nothing going around right now that would make you lose your smell or your taste. He said, I wish I was in my own office because I would give you an antibody test, and I guarantee you that it would show that you had COVID. So he told me they did an x-ray and everything on my lungs, on my chest, and there was no pneumonia, but he did see that I was had developed bronchitis. So he gave me a steroid while I was in there, and then he also gave me a steroid to take for like the next few days. When I tell you that was the most, it was like the biggest relief to have somebody confirm what I knew was going on, that something was wrong, right? And then it just saddened me a bit that it had to be a black doctor that was taking what I was saying and actually helping me now. And to breathe the way I was breathing after he gave me those steroids, like, I could just cry because I was struggling, and I've never had struggle before. I was struggling bad. So okay, after that, after the steroids wore off, he had ordered me another pump. I've been taking a pump, and then all of a sudden it kind of started to come back again after I was off the steroids and still taking the asthma pump. So that's when I went to go see the new doctor now that I chose at my hospital. And she was like, let's take a pulmonary test. And we do a pulmonary test, and I have restrictive lung disease. And she said it's more than likely from the COVID. So I was placed on a steroid pump in addition to my regular asthma pump. So I was to take this pump pretty much twice a day. So 2 pumps each time, twice a day. And I had just took it for so long, and I just started to feel so much better. When I tell you, I don't have to really use my asthma pump. I don't really have to use my asthma pump now. But just remembering the struggles, and this is now, my son is about to be 2 years old next month. 2 years old next month. I've been dealing with this since February, March, April, since April of 2020. And my son is about to be 2 years old next month, and I am finally starting to feel normal. It has been the most like stressful, tiresome journey. Like, it's not even funny. And then on top of that, to try to make sure that your children don't get it, Um, my husband, I know he has the huge burden because he has to go to work every day, try to make sure he doesn't bring it home to us again, because he knows how terrified I am of it. So when it came down to the vaccine, everybody has been getting it. A lot of people around me has been getting the vaccine. And so I finally was like, babe, I think like it's finally time. Like, we have put it off for as long as I think we could. I think enough people has gotten it now that I'm starting to be more comfortable with making that decision to get it. And so we went ahead and we scheduled it. So like he said, we're a unit, so we do things together. I'm gonna go for my first dose first, and then he's gonna go for his the very next day. He wanted to go first, but it just didn't line up like that with his work and everything. So I'm gonna go first for mine. He's gonna go for his the next day, and we're gonna do this thing together. I'm still not on board with getting it for my 9-year-old yet, because I can make decisions all day for me and understand the risk. She can't. I can understand the risk, but who am I to still say, you know what, even though those risks, I give it to her, you know? But then it's also in the sense of, okay, so they have something that could possibly protect her, and I'm not gonna give it to her. It's like, it's just like a double-edged sword to me. So that one we're still gonna have to marinate on, but I finally made the decision. Me and my husband are getting a shot, and yeah, that is our COVID-19. Okay, so I forgot to add that after all this is like said and done, now I have, like, certain things smell funny to me, like, and certain things taste funny to me. I do not like the taste of bananas anymore, and I used to eat bananas like all the time. I don't like the taste of bananas anymore. It has like a flowery note now. My smell is not as profound as it used to be. It kind of takes me a bit to smell things a lot. Like, you would think you would smell bacon, right? Anybody can smell bacon. You smell bacon probably outside. I have to be up on it to smell that that's what's being cooked. When I get sick now, the first thing that goes is my smell, which is the strangest thing. Like, that is so, it's so weird to have your smell leave, like, for you not to smell or taste anything. It's like, or if you have a taste for food and you can't, you like, I can't even taste it, I can't smell, I can't do nothing with it, but you know, you have to taste. It's the most irritating thing. Also, TMI, I create a lot of mucus now. Like, I literally have to blow my nose like a lot, and it never used to be like that. So those are just like, I mean, a few things that I guess I'm left with and I gotta deal with, but and he's recovered just fine. He's perfectly fine. It was me. Also, yeah, like, he had he started to feel a little funny too, even after coming out of COVID, and come to find out his vitamin D was he was low on vitamin D, so they had to give him vitamin D's to take every day. It made me wonder, like, I wonder if we were already low and that's kind of why we got COVID, or if after we had COVID it drained us of the vitamin D. Like, I'm not sure about that, and I always wondered that. But we take our vitamins, we take all of our vitamins now. We still take a vitamin D every day, but we don't take as much. We just take like 1,000 IUs a day, which I think that's always encouraged in addition to your vitamins, just so you know. The kids take their vitamins, and we still social distance, minus a few family, I know, but we're back on lockdown in our house, so we not full line with nobody. We all in the house. Even for my son's birthday next month, we're gonna do a Zoom birthday for him. There's no people coming over to the house whatsoever. We still sanitize. We wear masks, even though they said the masks don't pretty much protect you, but I feel like it's something better than nothing. And yeah, we just trying to fight through this thing just like everybody else, but we're just hoping that it doesn't touch our home anymore or any of our family, because my brother has had it as well. My father had it. My father had it very bad, to the point he was scared that he was gonna die. And they even asked him to come in, and they told him, if you come in, we're more than likely gonna put you on a ventilator, because he just couldn't breathe. And excuse my language, but he rocked that shit out at home by himself, him and his wife. His wife took care of him, and he got through it. So we are all still here by the grace of God, and I plan to continue to be here. So I thank y'all for listening to my COVID story. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about what we talked about tonight, or if you just want to share your story, hopefully you don't have a COVID story, but if you have a COVID story you want to share it as well, I'm all ears. Drop down in the comments. Okay, y'all have a good night. Everybody stay safe, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.